On this episode of another Very Kooky Countdown, big balloons. Just a stone's throw away. Kitties swimming great distances. A mass pillow fight. To a mass flower fight. And a jailbird's tribute to Jacko. The evening lights of Shanghai. This is where we start today's Another Very Kooky Countdown. Today we're counting the masses doing very kooky things. Let's go with number 10. And in downtown China's financial capital, more than 150 Chinese professionals participated in a mass pillow fight. The crowd, mostly young professionals, didn't hold back as they went all out at each other with pillows during the 10-minute pillow fight. Organisers said they came up with the idea of a mass pillow fight after learning of similar events that were held in the United States and Europe. This is a great opportunity for busy Chinese professionals to get out and make friends, as well as vent out their stress and frustrations. If this is how they treat friends, what would they do with enemies? Competitors seem to be enjoying themselves.
I feel that everyone can let their hearts out, have fun together and do this without holding back. So I'm very happy, especially during the finale. I feel very good just by working and sweating it out during the pillow fight.
There are no words that can describe how I'm feeling now. In the end, there were broken pillows, scattered feathers and a few bruised egos. The event was well received and organisers are planning a similar mass pillow fight in the future. Now there's a good look. Event organisers said this was a great fun event that they were happy to be a part of. Most of these young people face a lot of pressure during work, so this event was an opportunity for them to let their hair down. Most of all, it is for them to have an outlet to release their stress. A local dating website put the event together. It also included various dating games played with a pillow. Pressures of life? Then this is the way to relieve it. In our mass kooky countdown, let's slow things down a bit from our last story. Sit down, relax, think happy thoughts. Here at number 9 is a mass meditation taking place in Belgium. A total of 800 people from all over Europe and the Middle East travelled to Belgium for this mass meditation. Mass meditation is becoming popular around the world, with events similar to this being held across many continents. This one, though, was one of the largest gatherings of its type ever. The meditation session lasted about 3 hours, and participants were encouraged to explore themselves, focusing on switching perception of various parts of their body. The disciples here are pretty focused, and during this one-day course were not allowed to smoke, to talk, or mingle with the opposite sex. Shh! This type of meditation has proven very effective in the Asian prisons where it's been used.
So the main purpose of this technique is to make people good human beings. Peace within. When there is peace within, there will be peace outside. Then only there will be real peace in the world. If the individual is all the time agitated, all the time full of negativity, where is peace? After all, the society is made of individuals. And individuals are so very much unhappy and miserable. And we talk of world peace, what world peace?
This particular kind of meditation technique was developed by Goenka several years ago, when as a rich businessman in his mid-20s, he suffered from recurring migraines. specialists in the West were unable to find a cure, and it was only when he discovered a forgotten Buddhist technique that he was able to control his pain. Looks like there's no hurting here with this mass feel-good mind game. It takes our number 9 spot on this episode of another Very Kooky Countdown. At number 8 in our mass countdown, we're off to India for a mass stoning. Ouch! At this crazy event, hundreds of Indian villagers throw stones at each other as part of an annual ritual to please a local deity. This kooky event is celebrated each year at a local temple in Champawat and is held as part of the Devi Dura festival. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? According to Hindu mythology, a local Indian boy called Bhima had killed a demon at this spot. The ritual marks Bhima's triumph over the demon, and to celebrate this milestone event, the locals reenact the battle each year. During the festival, youth from the village divide themselves into 2 groups and pelt stones at each other, while at the same time trying to protect themselves from incoming rocks with large wooden umbrellas. The game begins after some prayers at the temple. Players say they enjoy the ritual and believe divine power gives them strength to endure the pain. The festival is celebrated to maintain our culture, to perform acts of bravery, and to give up oneself to the will of the goddess. But who eventually wins the fight is a decision left to the god above. Thousands participate in the festival and, in spite of the serious injuries, take the wounds as the goddess's blessing. We are devotees of the goddess, and therefore it is our duty to play the game. We are willing to serve the goddess at the cost of our lives. We will participate in the festival next year also. By nightfall, the festivities wind up, with the rivals embracing each other and then head back to the temple for some more prayers. Once back in the temple, they all gather to pray once more, this time for those with the more serious injuries. This ancient festival looks set to continue for a long time yet, with participants already planning to meet up next year and throw rocks at each other all over again. As you do. Still to come, clowning around, guitarists gone wild, and a mass flower fight. The number 7 spot on this another very kooky mass countdown goes to none other than L-O-V-E, love. What better way to celebrate the International Day of Love than with a mass wedding? One town in Peru decided to celebrate in style this year, uniting hundreds of couples in a massive tribute to St. Valentine's Day. In the first day of the year, to offer a free civil marriage for residents, some 218 couples tied the knot in the coastal town of Callao. Hundreds of people from all walks of life were brought together to be brought together legally by the town mayor, Alex Curry. Like that of Walter and Jenny, who had been boyfriend and girlfriend since the age of just 15. This wasn't their first trip down the aisle. No, the couple originally married in 1999, but divorced 2 years ago. There were problems at home. We divorced, but then we realised that we still loved each other, and we are taking advantage of the opportunity from the mayor of Callao, who is giving us this opportunity to get back together. And that is why we're here, trying to help my daughter get on more than anything, and grow up with a paternal image by her side. One of the more senior couples at the event was 69-year-old Maximo and 61-year-old Joanna, who tied the knot after 47 years of marriage that had never been officially formalised.
Well, after 47 years of religious marriage, since the mayor has given us the opportunity, we decided to be legalised. For our children and for ourselves.
This elderly couple finally decided to legalise their union at the mass ceremony. As the newlyweds toasted their futures, Mayor Alex Curry expressed his own happiness to have been a part of such an occasion. There are 218 couples. We've had a great celebration today, and we're really happy on St. Valentine's Day. As the day went on, the nerves eased and the brides and grooms, all 218 of them, celebrated this romantic occasion with champagne and dancing. There was plenty of bouquets of flowers, chocolates and relatives and friends on hand to help with the celebration. The wives in this lot are particularly happy, as this event will leave no excuse for any husband to forget their wedding anniversaries in the future. Up and away at number 6 in this kooky mass countdown, and not since my kid's 4th birthday have I ever seen so many crazy shaped balloons. This show is renowned for all its hot air, and this story just proves it. Here's a mass festival of colourful hot air balloons that filled the skies over southwest England. Balloonists from all over the world converged at the Bristol International Balloon Fiesta to take part in a mass launch of these crazy contraptions, though the weather looked a bit dubious. The big question is, which ones will fly?
It's the 28th anniversary this year, and it was started in 1979 with just 27 balloons, and it was really just meant as a fun event for the Bristol public, and it's grown to be this fantastic event we've got 137 balloons this weekend, lots of trade stands, entertainment, concerts, so it has mushroomed beyond all expectation.
Early in the morning, when the conditions are just right and the wind is at its lowest, the balloons are launched. From before dawn, the competitors began arriving to set up their giant airships. But with some uncertainty around the weather, it was a waiting game to see if they could fly. Eventually, the all-clear was given, and it was time for the great mass of balloons to take to the skies.
It's a great opportunity to fly amongst other balloons. When you're just flying on your own in a balloon, then obviously you've got a fantastic view, but you kind of lose perspective of where you are. But when you're surrounded by other balloons, all the fantastic shapes, colours and all the rest, then it gives you even more to look at. And yeah, Bristol Balloon Fiesta, with I think there's 120 balloons there this year, gives you the best opportunity in this country to fly amongst other balloons.
Once the flames start to die down from the takeoff, the experience in the air is peaceful with very little sound at all. Safety is paramount at an event like this with so many balloons in such a confined space. Pilots must regularly check for other balloons which may be flying above or below.
We have a great degree of control over height. We can control the height down to a few inches, as you probably noticed as we came into land there. We're able to actually use that though to steer the balloon, because you get different winds at different heights. This morning we had a wind which was blowing probably about 15-20 degrees to the left when you're near the ground, 15-20 degrees to the right when you're higher up. So I could actually steer ourselves towards this airfield here, so it makes life a bit easier. It doesn't always happen like that. Sometimes you get a constant wind at all heights, which makes things a bit more difficult.
The next challenge is a soft landing. A fairly regular occurrence is tipping baskets, so passengers are encouraged to hold on tight for landing. At this point, timing is crucial, and as you can see in this case, coming in too fast can lead to a very bumpy ride. Ouch! No, this isn't the annual Mad Nuclear Scientists Convention. Talk about kooky. Position number 5 goes to a strange and messy ritual that takes place in a seaside town in Greece to celebrate the Carnival season. The picturesque coastal town of Galaxity, about 200 kilometres west of Athens, is as renowned for Carnival as it is the Flower War. Confetti and streamers cannot be found here, but something altogether more vicious and messy. Each year, more than 1,500 kilograms of flour bombs, bags of flour tinted with various shades of food colouring, are thrown at anyone who's in the firing line. As strange as the ritual itself, a cowbell signals the start of the battle. Hundreds of youths wearing masks and goggles venture into town on a mission to lob as many bombs at their opposition in this all-out crazy street battle. Armed with their powdery arsenal, whistles and horns, participants walk through the town and throw flour at each other, while others prefer the less combative tradition of dancing. We're having a great time here, and what's going on here doesn't happen anywhere else. What else is better than this here? There's that crazy cowbell again. This crazy tradition attracts thousands of visitors from across the country, as well as many tourists. Locals say it takes days of painstaking efforts to wash off all the powder. But that does not stop the Galaxidians from proudly carrying out this unusual custom. When it's all over, there's only one way to clean off. Here's a joke. Why did the small kid cross the river? To get to the other side, as quickly as humanly possible, to save his tiring legs and get those weird floating things off as quick as possible. Phew! Here's number 4, and some kiddies swimming a very, very long way. Amazingly, more than 800 South Korean children swam the 1,400 metres across a river in Seoul to commemorate the Korean War and hopefully encourage reunification of the Korean peninsula. The children started crossing the river to commemorate the Korean War and to remember the hardships and troubles Koreans faced during the war. The swim was first organised in 1994 and 625 children swam just 625 metres. Strangely enough, the event has become more and more popular year after year, with more than 800 children taking part. Over the 13 years of the event, more than 12,000 children have crossed the river. Indeed, one participant said it was no small feat. It was difficult to swim against the strong currents. While some competitors struggled in the currents, others made light of their endurance swim.
It was fun and not scary because I did the same thing when I was in the first grade.
Safety certainly wasn't an oversight at this event, with 120 lifeguards, together with an ambulance, on hand to ensure none of the children were harmed in the making of this kooky event. It was scary, but I crossed well because I did the same thing last year. Righto, now back to the other side, kids, to catch the bus back to school. Coming up, clowns, guitars, and Michael Jackson. It's all very kooky, really. Here comes the band. To Germany now for number 3 in the another very kooky mass countdown, where more than 1,800 guitarists hit the record books with a mass rendition of Deep Purple's Smoke on the Water. Da 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 da. The secret of the song is that you can simply learn it in 15 minutes, even if you have never had a guitar in your hand until then. That is what is so fantastic about it. And anyway, it's a super song. It made rock and roll history. There's a lot of things you can learn in 15 minutes, but the guitar isn't one that you naturally think of. The song singles itself out due to its simplicity. It is actually a folk song, a guitar folk melody, where your grandmother recognizes it and the grandchildren celebrate it too. This tune conquered the world. A good 30 years after the rock anthem Smoke on the Water hit the charts, the Deep Purple song has hit the record books. At least the biggest rendition of it has. All these guitar fans gathered near Stuttgart in Germany to try and get into the Guinness Book of Records with a mass rendition of the Deep Purple hit. And they succeeded, with organisers managing to gather some 1,800 guitarists to take on the attempt. The previous record, which was held in America, had only 1,683 guitarists performing simultaneously. Only. Professionals and amateurs rubbed shoulders at this kooky attempt, as everyone was invited to try and crack the record, even those who had never played before. Guinness Book of Records was on hand to register it, and as the number peaked, it seemed Smoke on the Water was the new German anthem. Now for this lot, it's on to Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. In second place on this another very kooky countdown, we're in the slammer with a bunch of Filipino prisoners who have donned their dancing shoes in a mass tribute to the king of pop, Michael Jackson. The inmates paid tribute to their hero by performing a unique version of the singer's hit, Thriller, which launched them to instant internet fame. I was affected by his death because he was the one who gave us inspiration in prison. He made us famous. Looking like a well-oiled dance machine, these inmates whipped up a few dance numbers overnight in memory of the singer, just days after hearing of Michael Jackson's death. More than 1,500 inmates are housed at this prison south of Manila, most convicted of serious crimes such as murder, drug trafficking and robbery. With prison terms of at least 20 years, the inmates find that dancing to uplifting music such as Michael Jackson's makes life behind bars less dreary. The prisoners were well versed in the dance steps as they learned Michael Jackson dance moves as part of their monthly exercise program. Uniforms and zombie makeup were the go as they strutted and glided to Thriller, I'll Be There, We Are the World and Bend. Inmates dressed as nuns raised their arms and the rest swayed to the music. I was so sad when I found out that our biggest idol, Michael Jackson, had died. All of us really idolize him. We will miss his dance moves, especially his moonwalk. The kooky event was recorded and has had more than 20 million hits on YouTube. In our #1 position on the another very kooky mass countdown, hundreds of clowns just clowning around. The occasion was to thank Our Lady of Guadalupe in Mexico City for blessing them with employment. There's obviously a lot of work for clowns in Mexico. Hundreds of colourful clowns were welcomed by the bells of the local cathedral as they all packed in for Mass. When church was out, they all marched out and began singing and dancing through the streets, giving joy to little ones and older ones and thanking the Virgin of Guadalupe because she gives us the opportunity. She gives us strength to make everyone laugh. He wasn't the only person happy that clowns were around to make people laugh. We thank them, the clowns, for giving joy to the family, young and old, and a good atmosphere for everyone. The clowns all behaved themselves during Mass and received communion once they reached the Basilica. This is one of several processions which take place every year. Such a happy lot, aren't they? We'll see you next time for another very kooky countdown.